Up until this point, we've discussed Test Builder, JMeter, and Gatling. All three of those are what we call protocol level test tools, which run by sending requests directly to your application servers through the protocol layer. Browser level test tools such as Element actually interact with your application on the browser level. Instead of coding the requests to send to your application server, you code Element in order to identify certain elements on the page and interact with them just like a real user would. You can go to element.flood.io for more information, and you can also click this Learn link here to get some more information about how to script with Element as well as some examples and tutorials. In this video, we're actually going to be talking about the tutorial for WooCommerce. If you'd like to download this script, you can have a look in the resources section to this video, or you can download it here. In Flood, the flow is pretty similar to Test Builder. Click on Default, click on Launch a New Flood, and you'll see that there's an option here in the middle just for Flood Element. Now there is another option for running Flood Element scripts through Flood, but we will talk about that later. First, let's go through this process. Click Continue. You'll see it all seems very familiar. And I'll say Element as the name of the test, and you'll be able to upload your script here. I'll bring up my Finder window here, and I'm going to drag and drop this sample Element script. You can see that's been uploaded. I'm going to click Continue. Now this step is slightly different from the other paths that we've seen before. Let's go over what each of these means. When Element runs on Flood, each instance of Element opens a separate browser window. In this case, it's Chrome. Browsers per region gives us the total number of instances of Element that you want to run per availability region for AWS. If you select 40 browsers per region, for example, you're going to be running 40 instances of Element or 40 users in the availability region that you set. This browser density figure is the number of instances of Element you want to run per node. A node is just a virtual machine that's running on the cloud. So let's just say that we want to run 20, and we'll select the region to be Singapore. What this is telling Flood is that you want to run 40 users of Element across the Singapore region. These 40 users will be split according to the browser density here. Since we've selected 20, Flood will try to run 2 nodes in this region, each one with 20 Element users. For this test, we want to start off conservatively because it's our first one. So I'll dial this back down to 1. Since there's only one browser per region that we're running, the browser density doesn't really matter because this is a maximum number of browser instances or users that we want to run per node. We will leave the test duration at 5 minutes, and I'll click Launch Test. Now you'll notice that we didn't go into that dialog box about launching grids. This is because that Element path that we followed is a little bit simplified, and Flood actually handles that part for you, much as it did in the Test Builder. But let me show you another way that we could have run the Element script. Again, I'm just going to click the gear icon here and click Start More like this. The other way that we can run this is instead of using the second option here, we can select the Upload Existing Script option. You can then click Continue, and you would then upload the Element script as you normally would. Then you can click Continue again, and make sure not to select any of these tools. This will also give you the same options to set the parameters that we did for JMeter and Gatling. You can click Continue, and you'll see that we're shown the option to choose a grid and launch. This way does give you a little bit more control over which grid you want to use. For example, this grid is already starting, and we could actually just select it and launch the test. Either way, the result will be the same. Now let's check back on our test. And you've just run your first successful test with Flood Element.